Morning, come on in if you'd like to have a seat for some symbolic support. I'm going to start with some Scry scrolls if you'd like to join me and allow the ink to ignite a meditative state. Closing the eyes, relaxing and releasing the rush, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness. This message is for someone. Thank you for joining me, and as always, holding space to perceive and receive, gaze to gain, and share the symbolic story. All right. Here's the ink, and I'll add on some tarot and oracle in a moment. We're just cleansing the palette here. Ooh, there's some sort of high vibe. If I may, I'm going to jump in, like, share, subscribe. There are... Okay, so I feel like there's work being done. Oh, I'm a little bit farther away today. That's fine. So I'm seeing like two beings working on this space. It's happy. It's almost like there's a veil between. Sorry, my table's family heirloom, so it's old and crickety. And they're working on the space in between. I'm being asked to travel down an alternate rabbit hole that if there's something undecided or unknown, it could be not even just unknown, that's not the space, but there's just something kind of lurking within, and it's kind of sticking in your craw, and it's not quite sitting as right as you want it to for one reason or another. It could be attracting other energies that will enhance that irritation or that agitation. So there might be something about whatever that concept is, whatever that energy is, whether it's mental energy, thoughts, something in the heart space, a contemplation or constipation in any sort of channel, personal or professional. If there's something not quite sitting right, that low vibration kind of feeling could be attracting other energies or entities to enhance that. So then I'm being asked to travel here to raise the frequency of the thought process or feeling in regards to that. If it's something that's not sitting right, generally a more negative feeling, can your perception of it become more positive? It won't necessarily change the energy of the thing, the craw, but the perception of it will be, okay, it's not sitting quite right, so I'm going to pay more attention, or I'm going to ask more questions. You know what I'm saying? It feels like shift the perception versus focusing on the thing. Maybe wander out. And I'm getting that wander out, like go outside of the thing itself, kind of explore around the box. And then once that illumination's been had, like the illumination of perception, you're like, hold on a minute, sword in the stone. When you decide to make a decision regarding it, it attracts higher vibrational beings to support it. And then I'm seeing a really big smile. What else do we have here? Something about going up. When I flip them all from that possibility of space, and then when I flip them, they all point up. And then this goes from like a darker space to a lighter space. And when I say lighter, I mean like there's space. There's just space. It's not as dense. There's a being within a being. I'm almost seeing like a Pikachu or something like that. I'm not privy in my knowledge or understanding of those, but there's some sort of character like that. Could be a plush toy from childhood or something along that lines. I don't know if somebody feels smaller, like right in there, but they're actually like a star. seeing the top of a Christmas tree. Where are we going here? Okay. Oh, my nose is so itchy. The top of a Christmas tree, like the star on top. And even if it's like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, it's perception. Shift the perception. There's something about gratitude in there as well. I'm not sure. What do we have going on here if we like to adventure? There's oh, let me grab my footing in my tongue. It's weird, footing in my tongue. Grab my footing in my tongue. Okay, so I feel like I can't see right now. I feel like things are blurry. And it's when I'm in here. So I could still be in the dense space, but see how like there's shadowing and then there's the shine up there. And I feel like for one reason or another, I can't quite make out what I'm seeing on this card, Bune Adventure 24. Possibly the date 24 of a month, or the age 24, 24 years ago, 24 years ahead, this, that, or the other. But I can't quite make it out. So I'm going to take a moment to cleanse my palette here. Okay, no matter what the image actually is on the card, I'm perceiving like a hawk face, but this hawk face is merged with a snake face. So almost kind of like an above and below merging into this oneness, like feathers and skin all at the same time. A higher perspective and the ability to move slowly and silently, perhaps. Oh, it's very awkward when you are looking at something but you can't see something. Thank you. I'll take them. Refreshment and love. I don't know if you want to see that. There's something about my vision happening in here. Like I can see physically, I can absolutely see. And if you're familiar with me, abstractly, I have no problem empathically exploring. Something's different, something's changing. And maybe you're here with me because you're feeling that change. Things are the same, but they're not quite the same. Like it's almost like I can't put my finger on it, and I want to go back to the beginning. Like something's not quite sitting right. Am I misunderstanding? Am I misperceiving? Not misperceiving, but I'm perceiving something from one way, and it's slightly different now. Change my perception. So maybe I can see, but I'm trying to see the old way and not what could be. So we're going through this together. Because there's like a statue, a ghost of a statue there. Sorry, I didn't mean to use my middle finger. So it's like at one point in time there was a statue of maybe the self, or maybe you're could be feeling with me like very ghostly in your own environment. Like, is this happening, or am I going a little... Okay, so I'm going to travel down the rabbit hole of the self. For one reason or another, it feels more prominent. Because the version of, say, that perception, how we're perceiving people, places, or things, even of ourselves, of our world, all around, it's slowly disappearing. Because there's new adventures in love. If you're looking for love, it's here. But it's almost like, what is that? Like if you typically go for one kind of person, you might find this refreshing love with somebody who's typically not your norm, but they can go the distance. Like they were hiding in plain sight, but something about the shifting of perceiving frequencies or auras, along that kind of line. I don't want to get stuck on the linguistics of it in my limited language. There's, again, I think I'm actually looking at a wing, typical, tangible perception. And for a moment, I'm going to wander into this newer perception, or just slightly different, slightly skewed. I'm seeing a seal, a spirit symbol of a seal. I too may even look that up, as I'm not entirely sure or confident what that means to me. And maybe even before looking up, I may contemplate my thoughts on that. It's a quiet strength. Quiet strength. My nose is itchy again. Spirit of nature. Oh, sorry. And success. If you are here with me in this message, see how in this spirit of nature card, is it a bee? I think it's a bee. Doesn't matter now what we're perceiving. We're in a completely different place. So I'm seeing it as a bee and a butterfly. Same as the snake and the eagle or the hawk. I can go either way. And maybe that's the point of the perception thing. Is it something sticking in my craw? Can I change? Okay, we don't need to go back. I get to go either way. So I'm gonna also see it as just one, something beyond my logical realm. It's refreshing. It's refreshing. It's a butterfly. And it's landing on the right shoulder, so it's like it's coming in, and there's a grace, something about the spirit of your nature. If you're here with me and including this session, something about just transforming the way of seeing something. Like I almost feel like everything's the same, and I know I said this earlier, so bear with me as I repeat and just moving through it. Everything's the same, but it's slightly different. And it's like, oh, it's slightly different. There's a quiet strength in researching things or perceiving this. I don't necessarily think this is something that one might say to, I'm going to say the wrong audience, and I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I mean that is in an intelligent way. Because sometimes even saying things to an audience, whether the intentions are good or bad, and how it's being received is, good or bad, sometimes it can confuse other people, especially when it's being like this very moment. I am communicating something potentially in a confusing way. But I feel like those who know or are resonating can find the point of clarity through the perceptional possibilities. Butterfly, hawk snake, snock. I don't know, they're just things. Nonetheless, I'm coming into the space of quiet strength where there's definitely a guardian. Again, I'm seeing it as a hawk owl or an eagle owl. I think okay. The snake and the eagle, Sneagle. We're going to go with Sneagle. The seal was its own standalone. And then there's the butterfly. And now I'm seeing a hawk. That is a hawk. Straight up, it's a hawk. Right in line with that seal. There is success, and there's a trumpet in the background. Or I don't think it's actually called a trumpet, but this is that quiet strength again. There's a calling from, like right here. There's a calling from like right here. And you can feel it. Or you can hear this. How do I say that? It's the right shoulder again. Yes. Something about dignity. Dignity. Thank you. All right. I'm going to start to close out here. And thank you for joining me this morning as I do get ready to finish out the signs in November for November. Cycles. There's that snake and like a Celtic knot. 2434 is standing out. 2434. Thank you. And then we have blessings. I'm going to take a moment to scry these cards. And gratification, Sphinx. Quiet strength. Yes. Thank you. Remember when we were just talking about like right here? Or maybe I did it this way. Like it's like right here, that trumpet, that sound from the divine, you may want to call it, or just from right brain, left brain, creative, critical. It's like they're coming together. But this curvature is reminding, like it's like right here. And there's some sort of blessing that's going to be brought in as, if you're still with me, wandering through this perceptional possibilities. Like, and that's how I kind of feel. And I don't mean to look robotic, but it's kind of like a inquisitive nature going, yes, I see this and it's there and it is this tangible thing. Yes, thank you. But also I'm perceiving it as something else. And one might explore that. I also want to note that this blessings card, though it's not a seal, I think it might actually be a swordfish. But it's in that realm, so it might be more empathic oriented, or if you feel that you've been out in the cold for one reason or another, Hawk is coming back in. You've been quietly, very maturely guided. Since you were a child. Since you were a child, there's been a mature spirit with you. And then coming into the Sphinx of gratification. That quiet strength again. I don't think this is something that necessarily is going to be talked about with your friends or family, or maybe that you might have a confidant, you might have a mentor, somebody around you. You have like a spirit team and like a self team of friends, or for some reason I don't want to make that plural, but that's just maybe just for my world, my psychology of thinking. A person or very particular people that could help versus hinder. And same thing, if you're communicating this, it wouldn't be hindering them. But nonetheless, there is definitely some sort of I want to say clarity coming through, but it's a progression. There's going to be some sharp edges along the way, but if you wander too far out, you will be brought back in. Perception out, and you'll come back in. Like the ability to perceive beyond what's presented because it's just not quite looking right, and that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and I think that's the perception. And then it'll bring you back in. Christmas tree, star on top. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Feel free to support. Buy me a coffee. Links below. Help a gal grow. And until next time, thanks for scrying.